Guys, welcome to my newest video for today. For today's video I'm going to be doing an installment of Tracy Talks TV. This is the 6th installment that I've done of this series, and basically what I do here is I like to talk about all the TV shows that I finished watching over the past couple of months. So I'm just going to get straight into it, and starting off with the shows that I watched out of my own collection. I've been in a huge Sherlock Holmes mood lately, so I've sort of started like a rewatch of the different Sherlock Holmes series, and the one that I've been focusing on these past couple of months has been the Sherlock BBC show, which is like one of my favourite shows of all time. And yeah, it was just great getting to revisit this because it's been a while since I've actually sat down and watched it from the beginning. But yeah, so overall love this show. Just just so great. And my favourite series is series 3. I think this season in particular was just brilliant, and you know, I loved sort of everything about this with this series. So and then I know a lot of people aren't that big on series 4, but I sort of when I rewatched it, I was like, this isn't that bad. I mean, yeah, it's not as good as the previous seasons. It's probably my least favourite of the show, but like for what it is, like I think it's still pretty good. But yeah, so I've sort of been revisiting like Sherlock, so I finally like started from the beginning again and worked my way through. So yeah, it's just been so much fun going through the show again. So yeah, I think every few years I'd like to sort of sit down and give this show a watch. So yeah, that's Sherlock, the BBC series, series 1 through to 4. And then I finally finished watching a show I started back in January, and that is Doctor Who Season 3. This is of course the classic Who, because I've started a rewatch last year because when Series 10 ended, I was sort of like, I want more Doctor Who. So I decided, I thought, you know what, it's been a few years since I've actually sat down and like done an actual proper marathon. I thought I would try one of these, and it's so far taking me quite a while, but I finally finished Season 3, because I think that one of the main reasons with these, especially Season 3, like there's so many stories that are missing, and it sort of makes it hard to keep up the momentum, where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm up to this one, even though I've got the missing episodes in the audio form. But yeah, I just sort of find it harder to like put on, say, oh, I'm going to listen to the Daleks Master Plan, which is like 12 episodes, I think. But yeah, so it took me a while, but I did eventually get there, and overall, like, it's probably not one of my favourite seasons of the show, but I think my favourite story is probably the Massacre, because I think that one is quite interesting. It's like very dark, like historical story, and yeah, so I think out of the episodes that are missing, that would be the one that I'd hoped would be discovered. So but yeah, so I finally finished Season 3, so I'm nearing the end of the William Hartnell years. So I think I'm up to the 10th planet, so I'm nearly like finished with the first Doctor run. So I think, yeah, once I sort of get going and I get to like say up to the 3rd Doctor, like the marathon should hopefully pick up a bit. But yeah, so it's taken me nearly a year to get to this point, but I did finally finish Doctor Who Season 3, so as that one. And then I also finally caught up, well, not caught up with the show entirely, but I caught up with Season 2 of Supergirl, because this was one of the shows that suffered greatly during my the great TV slump of 2016-2017. I got up to like episode 8 of this season and just never continued on with it, even though I'm sort of having watched it now, including like rewatching those early episodes. I'm like, why did I stop watching Supergirl? I really enjoyed putting episodes on and sort of, you know, watching them, and like it might not be like my absolute favourite of the Flurryverse shows. That's still Legends of Tomorrow, in case you were wondering. But I've been really enjoying making my way through Supergirl, and yeah, I caught up with, like now that I'm up to season 3, I'm hoping to watch season 3, and then I probably won't be caught up with by the time season 4 airs, because I think that's like in a couple of weeks, but I do eventually hope to be watching it as like season 4 airs. But yeah, overall I did quite enjoy this season. Alex continues to be my favourite character, so, and then also, even though she wasn't in it as much, I do still love Kat, because Kat Grant is like overall my favourite character in the show. But yeah, she's only in like in the like beginning episodes and then in the finale, but I loved her in the finale. I thought yeah, she had great lines in that. So, but yeah, overall I thought this season was pretty like good. So yeah, definitely looking forward to continuing on and eventually catching up with the show. So that is Supergirl season 2. So those were the shows that I watched out of my own collection, and so the next few shows are sort of ones that I've been like, I'd say watching as they aired, but a lot of them I had to catch up with because this past couple of seasons I've been like, not couple of seasons, couple of months, I've been playing catch up with some of the shows that like I started watching last year and have only just gotten around to finish it, or like say there were shows that aired earlier in this year and like they've gotten a lot of hype and I thought I'd finally sit down and watch them. So I'm just going to quickly sort of go through these shows. So the first one is I finished Supernatural season 13. Yeah, Supernatural sort of one of those shows that like I fall behind on, but then I get caught up, and then it's like I fall behind on, I get caught up. So hopefully for season 14 I'm going to stay caught up. It's because I do still enjoy Supernatural, and I thought this past season was actually one of the better ones that it's been for a while. And I sort of, yeah, especially like at the season 13 finale, I thought I'm interested in seeing where it goes for season 14. So, but yeah, so hopefully I can stay actually caught up with a lot of the shows I'm going to be watching over the next like few months when the fall shows start up again. But I did get caught up on Supernatural, so as that one. And then a show that sort of aired earlier in the year, I finished, like I finally sat down and watched Killing Eve season 1, because that show has got a lot of buzz, and with Sandra Oh's Emmy nomination, I know she didn't win, she lost to Claire Foy, who I will say, having seen The Crown, I do think she's fantastic in that. But Sandra Oh was brilliant in Killing Eve, and yeah, this it ended up being a lot funnier than what I thought it was going to be, because I was expecting like this hard-hitting espionage show, but while it was like sort of an espionage type show, it was, yeah, a lot more lighthearted than what I was expecting. So that kind of yeah, it was a bit different. But and aside from the fact one of my favourite characters got killed pretty much like in episode 3, but anyway, that's aside from that, I thought that, yeah, this was quite an interesting show, and yeah, definitely going to be tuning in for season 2 when that comes back next year. But yeah, I sort of like the whole cat and mouse type, yeah, with like the two main characters. Yeah, just, yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed the show, and yeah, so I'm glad I did end up checking that out. So yeah, so that was Killing Eve. And then a couple of shows that I've also caught up on. I finished The Terror season 1, which initially started out as like a limited TV event on was it AMC, I think it was, but I sort of was watching it at the start of the year, and then I just fell behind and sort of lost interest in it a bit. But I still had I only had like 3 episodes left, and I thought, well, I may as well just see how it ends, just so I could say I finished it. And that's what I ended up doing, because I think the premise was quite fascinating. That's what hooked me in, because it was like, it's based on a true story, and about this ship that disappeared in the, I think it's South Pole, I want to say, and yeah, and then it's like, because there was like no survivors, and we sort of find out what happened to the crew and like what happened to the ship, but sort of like this take on it. And yeah, I liked it to begin with, but then I think as it got dragged on. I just felt it could have easily been wrapped up in like 8 episodes instead of 10. But I finished it, you know, I sort of, yeah, it was sort of like not the worst TV show I've ever like watched, but not my favourite. I think if I'd probably, like, yeah, it's sort of not one that I think if I hadn't finished I wouldn't have been too bothered by, but I thought I've got the episodes, I may as well just see what the, like how it ended. So I did finish it, but I don't think I'm going to be back for season 2. I know it's going to be following a different story, like, but yeah, I think it just, the pacing for it wasn't done that well, and like it was, I thought the production design was quite, well, it's like very minimal. It was, yeah, like they portray like the claustrophobia and the helplessness of the situation, but yeah, it just wasn't, I don't think it really grabbed my interest that much, but I still finished like the show. So yeah, so that was The Terror. And then I also finally finished Legion season 2. I really enjoyed season 1, and while I did like season 2, at some point, I think it was like episode 6, it started to lose me. It was like, I was watching it, and then at one point I just went, I have no idea what the hell's happening here. And like, I know that's the point of the show, it's like, it's very out there and trippy and things like that, but I was sort of watching it and I'm like, what the hell's happening here? And so, but yeah, I did finish it. I'm still interested enough in season 3 because I know it's being renewed for season 3, but yeah, and also on the ending, I'm curious to see what direction the show goes in, but yeah, it started to lose me a bit in towards the back half of season 2. So, but yeah, that was Legion season 2 that I finished. And then another show that I sort of watched randomly was Making It season 1. It's the most bizarre thing for me to want to sit down and watch because it's like a reality type show, but I think it was inspired by the Great British Bake Off, I think the name of that show, but instead of baking, it's about arts and crafts. Now, I'm not a crafty person at all. Like, I have zero interest in crafting. But the reason I decided to watch this was because it was hosted by Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman, I think is in, who are, of course, from Parks and Recreation. And I was like, yeah, I'm there. So I watched it. And, you know, it was a cute, fun show. Like, nothing super serious or that. It was just like a nice little competition, like crafting competition show, and yeah, I found it quite fascinating, like with the crafts, except the people I liked kept getting sent home. So that was sort of a bit of a running theme, like person where I was like, oh yeah, I really liked you, and then they got eliminated in that episode. So yeah, that was that one. But no, I did quite enjoy making it, and I know it got renewed for season 2, so I will be checking that out, I'm assuming next year for that one. And then the last show that I have to talk about is Jack Ryan season 1. So this is sort of a show that I've been slowly building interest in, and I think part of that is because I can't pronounce his name. I always call him Jim from The Office, which I know is like, you know, try not to stereotype with the thing, but just John Krasinski, I think. Yeah, but anyway, you know the guy who I'm talking about. I saw a trailer for the show, and I was like, actually, that looks like it could be pretty decent. And yeah, I thought it was quite a fun action thriller, and sort of like the story was. I thought the overall plot was actually quite interesting, and it kept me hooked enough to want to find out what was happening. There's a couple of storylines that I wasn't too bothered with because it felt quite disconnected, like, from the main plot, but yeah, I thought it was a different sort of take on like with the whole like planning a terror attack, and like this, you've got to try and stop the suspects. I thought how they sort of approached it was quite interesting, and yeah, it sort of ended up being a show I quite enjoyed. And again, I know it got renewed for season 2, so I'm probably going to be checking that out next year as well. So yeah, so I sort of funny, it's like, oh, it's some shows that I've been watching, and then I've actually been invested enough to want to continue on with the next season. So yeah, so it's been quite a good TV show watching, like, for the past couple of months. So yeah, I'm sort of as I've been making my way through the backlog of TV shows that I've like fallen behind on, I'm sort of like rediscovering my passion for TV, and I'm just like, oh, I've finally had this slump, so hopefully I can keep the momentum going, and yeah, sort of make my way through other TV shows that like I started watching a few episodes of and just completely fell behind. But yeah, so those were sort of the latest batch of TV shows that I finished, so I'll do this again in a couple of months and hopefully I get caught up on a few more shows. So yeah, so that's basically it. So I'm just going to stop it here, and thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!